Attack on Titan, an anime which began literally 10 years ago, has finally came to an end, where its final episode was released on November 5th. The final episode was definitely a roller coaster experience, having amazing epic moments to emotional ones and to some really deep meaning sequences as well. Whereas a very hardcore Attack on Titan fan whose favorite anime was this, and I also started anime with this. I'm feeling very empty after seeing the final episode, not just because that it has ended but also because it ended in a way which sort of says goodbye to the viewer as well. Describing it in words is a bit difficult because it was definitely sad but also happy at times. I guess bittersweet would be a better word. Anyways, despite the finale being extremely good as you would expect from an Attack on Titan episode, it was also quite confusing at times, which again you would expect from Attack on Titan. So in this particular video we'll try to understand the ending of this long-running masterpiece and also look at some confusing elements of the finale, like how the power of the Titans vanished, what was this ugly-looking piece of shit, how Mikasa was responsible for the eradication of the Titans in the end, how did dead characters like Grisha and Bertolt came back, and many more. So the video is going to be quite informative for all the Attack on Titan fans. So let's begin. So the episode began where the previous episode had left, where the Survey Corps are jumping into Eren's back to of-course stop him from doing the rumbling. While taking down the beast, they figured out that there's not much that they can do, so Armin came up with a simple plan that he would blow up the entire Titan's body with his colossal Titan transformation, which might help to get the location of Eren and Zeke. But as he was about to do it, a Titan came from behind and sucked him. I mean, not in that way, but in some way, yes. And while going inside he saw a blink of Ymir Fritz. And then after that over hundreds of Titans came. And later on it was figured out by Peak that all of them are the previous generation of Titan holders, and they were specifically trained for fights, and now they have to fight them in order to progress. So the question comes that how exactly did these Titans came? Why would Eren want to do something like this? Why he would want to put their lives in danger? So basically Eren has nothing to do with it. He's just doing the rumbling, and in his back all these Titans coming from past are being done by Ymir Fritz. Now of course the question comes that how is she doing it? So basically you have to understand one thing, that an Eldian never really dies. Its body does for sure, but the Eldian's consciousness, it get transferred to the paths, where Ymir has full control over it. And as currently Ymir has access to the royal blood and the founding, she controlled every Titan holder's consciousness through the paths with the founding and the royal blood. Then she created a sort of replica of them with the Warhammer Titan abilities. And that's pretty much it. So after all the Titans came, the soldiers had to do nothing but fight, and that too fight to death. And they were really struggling with it, and then suddenly, our dear boy Falco came flying with her girlfriend Gabby and Senior Annie Leonhardt, and he saved everyone. And while everyone was in mid-air trip, Levi came to the conclusion that they have no option left and they have to kill Eren. He made two separate teams, one who would rescue Armin, and the other who would kill Eren. And they were struggling a lot to do both of those things, but suddenly some Titans started to come to help the soldiers, and because of that they of course rescued Armin, and then Armin explained that it was due to Zeke, who's also a royal blood. So basically when Armin was unconscious inside the Titan's mouth, he traveled to paths, where he met with Zeke, and they had a very deep conversation, where first Zeke said that how in the very beginning some life forms came and gone but some eventually survived, which he stated them as life. Where he also said that everything which has life, its sole purpose is to multiply, doesn't matter what type of being is it eventually just multiplies, and it has been happening forever. And upon asked by Armin about a way to stop the rumbling, Zeke said, what's the point of stopping this? Even being alive means dying at some point eventually. So basically Zeke here has lost all his meaning of life, ambition, dream, which he had about euthanasia, everything. He's very empty at this point. Then Armin just remembers one memory of him, Eren and Mikasa. As one day they were racing to a tree in the hill. He felt that they were born to race there, not just because it has any meaning or anything, but because it felt special to him. Which sort of brought back the humanity of Zeke, as he remembered playing catch with his Xavier sensei. That it was so silly, yet he played all day with him just because it was special for him. He understood that this is what gives the life meaning. You don't have any purpose, no one has. But rather just living and doing your part and enjoying the things you like the most just gives your life a beautiful meaning, and that's it. Having said that, some dead characters reappeared because, as I previously said, that their consciousness is never dead. And currently it is controlled by Ymir, but Zeke somehow manages to convince them to not to let Ymir control them and help the soldiers for humanity, and that's basically how some Titans started to help them rescue Armin. And as Zeke came out, it seemed like he was feeling free, and in a matter of seconds, he was killed by Levi, and Levi fulfilled the promise he made to Erwin. And later on Armin transformed there and bombed Eren's Titan. But that wasn't enough, as this ugly-looking piece of shit still survived. And then it released the spinal fluid gas, which basically transformed all the Eldians there except Ackermans into pure Titans. And as others were in mid-air, Mikasa started having headaches, and at last she regained a memory which never happened in real life, but in Paths with Eren. Where it was shown that they left Parity before the Titans' attack, and came here and settled, and at the very last, Eren sort of, you can say, given Mikasa the permission to kill him and to also forget about him and to also throw the scarf after everything is done. And then Mikasa decided she would kill Eren herself. Everyone helped her by making the way easier for her. And as she went inside the Titan's mouth, she saw Eren and killed him without any hesitation. And if you notice, then Mikasa was the last person Eren saw before his death, and she was also the first one which he saw in the start of the series. And when you look at his face, you definitely get to know that he wanted none of this, but his destiny made him do it. And he's insanely depressed about it. And after she killed Eren, that means also the Founding, the Titan's power, including this ugly piece of shit, vanished from the world. And even the Titan holders, their lives were not shortened, instead they had longer normal lives now. And that's basically answers the question to how Mikasa was responsible for Titan's eradication. And after this we saw a regained memory of Armin talking with Eren in the Paths, where they discussed about Ymir Fritz, that why she hold on to for 2000 years obeying the order given by Karl Fritz, the reason which Eren got shocked him that Ymir even after all this loved Karl Fritz. That's why she became a slave to his orders for over 2000 years till someone comes who rescues her from this long-running suffering, and it was not Eren, it was Mikasa. And this dream sequence also raised questions about why Eren did the rumbling in the first place. So the answer is simple. He did it because he was supposed to do. If you remember in Season 3 then, when he kissed Historia's hand, who was a royal blood. He, because of the powers of the Founding, saw everything in the past and future related to the Founding, the previous Founding Titan holder memories including Ymir, and also the future till his death. And the rumbling was the part of the future, so anyway he had to do it. You can't change the past nor the future. So just to give it meaning, he made it look like he's trying to save everyone in Parity, his birthland. And in reality not even Parity but actually his friends, where after killing him they would have immense respect among the remnants of the world, and they would at least live in peace for the rest of their lives. And this memory sequence showed that it was Eren who sent Dina Fritz that day to her mother. Which of course raised questions that why he did it. So I've already made a video about it a year ago, where I've explained everything in detail. You can check it out. Right now I'll just explain in short. He did this because by doing this then only Grisha would give him the powers of the attack and Founding. Because as Grisha was completely against to any future calamities, but upon hearing that Carla is dead, the anger which he had for the Marleyans came back, and he decided to give the powers to Eren anyways. So that's the reason. And also because it was a part of past and future, where he had seen that he had changed her direction in the past. So he had to do it nonetheless. It was the destiny. And then talking about the end credits, that who was the husband of Mikasa, then it was not even revealed in manga, but the manga had a closer look, and the character design, dressing sense, haircut, height, with make it seem like it was Jean Kirstein, and it makes sense too because in the whole story only he was shown as a potential love interest for Mikasa other than Eren. In the part 2 of Season 4 he even dreamt of a family, whereas her wife he imagined Mikasa. And he's the only one who can live by the fact that he's not the real love of his wife. And again it was shown that even after so many years there are conflicts and war is still going on and Parity is bombed. And this was the overall message of Attack on Titan, that no matter what happens, till humans are there, they would come up with a reason to fight themselves. Doesn't matter how big or small the reason is. These foolish beings would fight among themselves no matter what. And at last a boy with his dog is shown, who is heading towards the tree where Mikasa buried Eren. And the speculated curiosity among fans that the cycle is gonna repeat again, but listen closely. It's not going to happen. Because as I already explained that the power of the Titans are gone. So there's no way something like that would happen. The boy and his dog of course will be completely fine. And this was the overall explanation of almost every confusing point of the finale, which I guess of course has cleared your mind. And as of now this it from me, and if you want to know why Eren killed his own mother properly, then you should check out this video. I've explained everything in detail. Thank you.